Have you ever felt that sudden, sinking panic right before a flight when you realize you might not have the right ID on you? Or maybe you've experienced the sheer frustration of trying to vote, or even just set up a bank account, only to be turned away because your identification just isn't up to standard? Navigating everyday life without a proper state ID is, frankly, an absolute hassle. But don't worry, today we are going to eliminate all that confusion. In this explainer, I'm going to give you a completely stress-free, couch-to-card roadmap for getting your Tennessee's state ID.
You know, trying to operate in modern society without a government-issued ID is kind of like trying to unlock a door without a key. You just aren't going to get very far. So, whether you're a brand new resident, a teenager getting your very first official credential, or someone who literally just needs an ID strictly for voting, this explainer is your ultimate step-by-step guide. We're going to bypass those typical DMV headaches entirely and get you exactly what you need.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll be looking at why you need a state ID, the eligibility requirements, gathering your required documents, starting your application and visiting the DMV, navigating fees and payments, and finally, receiving your state ID.
Okay, part 1. Why you need a state ID.
A state ID is way more than just a piece of plastic with an unflattering photo on it. It is your essential key to everyday conveniences and civic participation. You need it to prove who you are when you're applying for jobs, claiming federal benefits, or even just picking up certain prescriptions. Now, there's a really important distinction here between a standard ID and a real ID. A standard Tennessee ID is perfectly fine for voting, driving, and general identification. But if you plan to board a commercial domestic flight or access certain federal facilities, you will absolutely need a real ID by May 7, 2025. That deadline is creeping up fast, so opting for the real ID right now is a fantastic way to just future-proof your wallet.
Moving right along to part 2, eligibility requirements.
Basically, there's a specific ID tier for almost everyone. Whether you're an adult, a senior citizen, a non-citizen with temporary legal presence, or a resident with a disability, there is a clear pathway for you. And get this, there is literally no minimum age to get an ID. However, if you're under 18, you'll need a parent or legal guardian to sign a teenage affidavit and a financial responsibility form. You can do that either in front of a notary or directly at the Driver's Services Center.
All right, part 3, gathering your required documents.
Listen up, because this is hands down the most crucial part of our entire explainer. You have to get your paperwork together before you even think about leaving the house. Showing up unprepared is the #1 reason people get turned away. Based on the official Tennessee Real ID document checklist, you essentially need to prove 3 things. First, your U.S. citizenship or legal presence. Think a birth certificate or a passport. Second, your full Social Security number, like your actual physical Social Security card or a W-2 form. And third, you need 2 distinct proofs of Tennessee residency. Oh, and a quick heads up, if your current legal name is different from what's on your birth certificate, maybe because of a marriage or divorce, you absolutely must bring the certified legal documents that connect those names.
Let's zoom in on those residency proofs for a second, because this is where so many people trip up. Here's a major insider tip for you. Make sure those 2 residency documents are current, and by current, the state means dated within the last 4 months. They absolutely must show your physical street address, which means P.O. boxes are a no-go. And importantly, they have to come from 2 entirely different sources. So bringing a water bill and a gas bill from the exact same utility company, yeah, that won't work. Instead, bring a water bill and, say, a bank statement.
Okay, I need to pause right here for a massive warning. This is prominently displayed on all the state guidelines. No photocopies will be accepted. You have to bring original documents or certified copies issued by the government. I'm serious. If you hand the clerk a Xerox copy of your birth certificate, they will send you packing. Keep those original documents safe in a folder for your visit.
But hey, what if you're just trying to get a free voter ID so you can go cast your ballot and you've completely lost your birth certificate? Take a deep breath. Don't panic. The state actually has an exception for this. You can ask to speak directly with a Driver Service Center manager. They're authorized to review alternative records and work with you to verify your citizenship, specifically so you aren't disenfranchised from voting.
Which brings us to part 4, starting your application and visiting the DMV.
With our original documents securely in hand, let's look at how to actually start the application and visit the center without losing your mind. The days of just showing up, taking a number, and hoping for the best, yeah, those are pretty much over. To dramatically cut down your wait time, take advantage of the state's e-services portal online. You can actually pre-register your entire application online before you ever step foot inside the building. It lets you completely skip that tedious clipboard paperwork in the waiting room.
Just remember, if this is your very first time getting a Tennessee ID or your first time upgrading to a real ID, federal law mandates that you must eventually appear in person.
And to build on that time-saving tip, please do not just walk in blindly. You can absolutely schedule an appointment online at tn.gov/safety, or you can call their toll-free number. Booking a specific day and time practically guarantees you'll be seen promptly. Generally speaking, midweek mornings are usually your best bet for avoiding a super crowded lobby.
Okay, part 5, navigating fees and payments. Let's bust the myth right now that getting a state ID is always this huge, expensive hassle. Understanding the fee structure ensures you know exactly what to expect. And honestly, the fees are quite manageable. A standard adult ID, which is valid for a full 8 years, costs just $12. A minor's ID is only $5. And if you're a physically or intellectually disabled resident, or if you strictly need a photo ID just to vote, the credential is completely free of charge. Oh, and upgrading to a real ID doesn't add any extra cost during your regular renewal cycle either.
Lean in for another massive pro tip. If you only need a government ID to vote and you don't have any other accepted photo ID, you can sign a quick affidavit at the center declaring this. Not only is that voter photo ID completely free, but applicants seeking this specific credential are often placed into a fast-tracked express service queue to minimize your processing time. It's a huge win.
When it comes time to actually pay, state-operated driver services centers accept cash, personal checks, money orders, and major credit cards. But watch out for the sneaky little detail. If you choose to process a replacement or a real ID upgrade at a participating county clerk's office instead of a state center, they slap a mandatory $4 local processing surcharge onto your bill.
And finally, part 6, receiving your state ID.
So, you've paid your fees, you've handed over those pristine original documents, and you've taken a fantastic photo. That brings us to the final step of our explainer's journey, actually getting the ID. Now here's something you need to expect so you aren't surprised. Plot twist, you actually won't walk out of the building with your hard plastic card today. Due to newer, stricter security practices, you'll receive a paper interim ID printed right there at the counter. But don't worry, this paper document is legally valid for up to 20 days, while your official secure plastic credential is mailed directly to your physical address. Before we wrap this up, just a quick reminder about the realities of adulting. Bureaucratic requirements can, and for sure do, shift over time. While we've provided a really comprehensive guide for you today, you should always double-check the latest details, the fee structures, and the document checklists through the official Tennessee Department of Safety sources at tn.gov/safety before you make your trip.
Armed with these insider tips, knowing exactly which original documents to bring, and understanding how to pre-register online, you are now fully empowered to go conquer the DMV stress-free. Please, don't wait until the last minute before the May 2025 Real ID deadline. Go gather those documents and book that appointment today. And honestly, with this whole process completely demystified, what other bureaucratic hurdles have you been putting off that you could easily knock out next?